Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to make sense of the financial mumbo jumbo so you don't have to, while also trying to predict if this company is going to be the next big thing or go bust. Today we are diving into an interesting filing from Osprey Bitcoin Trust. This might not be your typical company with factories and sales reports, but it is all about how they are positioning themselves in the very dynamic world of digital assets, specifically Bitcoin. We're going to break down what this report really means for the trust and its investors. If you are into crypto or just curious about how these digital asset trusts work under the hood, stick around. Also, before we jump in, if you are enjoying these deep dives into financial documents, make sure you are subscribed and join our Discord community linked in the description below. It's a great place to chat about all things finance. So what we have here is an 8K filing. Think of this as a current report filed with the US Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, to announce major events that shareholders should know about. In this case, the big news revolves around a significant change for the Osprey Bitcoin Trust. This whole document is basically about Osprey Bitcoin Trust making some pretty big moves. They are essentially transforming from what they were into something new that aligns with how people trade investments in the stock market today. The main event happened on the 18th of December 2025. This is the date they officially agreed to make some major changes. The company we are talking about is Osprey Bitcoin Trust. They are involved in holding Bitcoin, and they are making changes to how you can invest in them. We see here some standard corporate information, like where they are incorporated and their filing numbers with the SEC. These are important for tracking the company, but not the juicy part of what they are actually doing. This section is essentially a checklist for various other types of filings. They are not intending to use this report for those other purposes. It is a straightforward 8K filing about a specific event. This tells us that as of this filing, their securities were not registered to be traded directly on a national securities exchange under Section 12B of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. This is a key point because what they are doing next directly addresses this. They have checked the box indicating they are an emerging growth company. This means they are a relatively new company and get to benefit from certain relaxed reporting requirements under the law. Now we get to the heart of the matter. This section announces that the trust has entered into a new, very important agreement. This is the big announcement. Osprey Funds LLC, which is the sponsor, and the trustee CSC Delaware Trust Company have signed a new agreement. The main goal of this agreement is to turn the Osprey Bitcoin Trust into something called an exchange, traded product. This means their units, which represent a piece of the trust's Bitcoin, will be listed and traded on the Nasdaq stock market. This is a huge step because it makes investing in Bitcoin through this trust much more like buying and selling stocks, making it more accessible to a wider range of investors. So what exactly are these changes? First, let's talk about costs. The trust will now have a management fee. This fee will be 0.49% of the trust's net asset value, calculated daily and paid monthly. Now here is the key part that is good for investors as part of receiving this fee. The sponsor, Osprey Funds, agrees to cover most of the trust's everyday operating costs. This includes things like fees for the trustee, fund administrator, transfer agent, and even listing fees on Nasdaq. This means investors have a clearer picture of their costs, with the management fee being the primary ongoing expense they need to worry about. They are changing how new shares or units are created and redeemed. This will only happen in large blocks called baskets of 10,000 units or more. These transactions will be managed by what are called authorized participants. They will exchange Bitcoin or cash for these baskets of shares. This is a standard mechanism for exchange, traded products designed to keep the market price of the shares closely aligned with the value of the underlying Bitcoin. It is how the supply of shares adjusts to meet demand. They are telling us that this explanation is just a summary. For all the nitty-gritty details, we have to look at the full agreement, which is filed as an exhibit. This is typical in these filings, essentially saying, read the full contract if you want everything. This is housekeeping. It tells us what exhibits are being filed along with this report. Here we see the actual third amended and restated trust agreement listed as Exhibit 1.01. This is the document that contains all the details we just touched on. This mentions an interactive data file for the cover page. Essentially, it is a digital format of the report's cover page data that can be processed by computers. This is part of the CSE's move to make filings more accessible and machine readable. This is the official sign-off section of the report, where authorized individuals confirm the accuracy of the information. The report is signed a few days after the main event on the 23rd of December, 2025. This is the date the report itself is officially submitted. Here we see the signature of Gregory D. King. He is signing on behalf of Osprey Funds LLC, the sponsor of the trust. Gregory D. King is the Chief Executive Officer of Osprey Funds LLC. He is signing this report in his capacity as an authorized officer of the sponsor. The registrant is a trust, and the identified person signing this report is signing in their capacity as an authorized officer of Osprey Funds LLC, the sponsor of the registrant. Scroll, this asterisk note is just clarifying that since Osprey Bitcoin Trust is a trust, the person signing is doing so as an officer of the company that sponsors the trust. So let's zoom out and talk about what this all means. Osprey Bitcoin Trust is making a strategic pivot. By becoming an exchange, traded product, and listing on Nasdaq, they are aiming for greater visibility, liquidity, and ease of access for investors. This is a significant move in the digital asset space as it bridges the gap between traditional finance and the crypto world. The 0.49% management fee structure, with the sponsor covering operational costs, seems designed to be competitive and transparent for investors. The basket-based creation and redemption process is standard for ETFs and similar products, which helps maintain the share prices linked to the Bitcoin price. Looking ahead, this move positions Osprey Bitcoin Trust in a more prominent spot in the market. It could attract a lot more capital by making it as simple as buying a stock to get exposure to Bitcoin. Of course, the risks are inherent to Bitcoin itself: price volatility, regulatory changes, and security concerns. However, by structuring themselves as a listed product, they're operating within a more regulated framework, which can be reassuring for institutional and retail investors alike. The decision to become an exchange, traded product, is a clear signal that they believe the future of digital asset investment for many people will be through these familiar, regulated vehicles. It is less about the underlying technology of a cryptocurrency and more about providing a managed investment product. In conclusion, Osprey Bitcoin Trust is taking a big step to become more accessible and transparent for investors by listing on Nasdaq. The 0.49% management fee, with operational costs covered by the sponsor, and the structured creation redemption process are key features designed to make it attractive. While Bitcoin's inherent volatility remains a risk, this move towards a traditional investment product structure seems like a smart play to capture a wider market. What is your take on this move? Do you think exchange, traded products are the way forward for crypto investments? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more in-depth financial analysis. And don't forget to join our Discord community for more discussions. Thanks for watching. See you next time.